And it's a good evening to ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, and even shush in the chat. It's BFE round 2 action. It's SLR versus EXR live from Portimao. I'm your host for this evening, Chorus Rose, and I apologise for blasting your eardrums off at the beginning of the stream with some dodgy music. So it looks like we got some overcast conditions for qualifying. We'll try and get a weather report for you. Just shout up in the chat if you can hear me. I did have some mic issues even with my new mic yesterday, but we'll see how we get on this evening. So representing EXR tonight is Passy and Ollie, Stonks and Tom N. We've got Snipes SB there representing SLR on debut, along with I believe that's MrJSmithy. Some names that you might be familiar with. Rain in 10, says Matty66. Thank you very much, mate. Welcome to the stream this evening. Anyone who doesn't follow to show your support for the BFE main channel, hit that follow button straight away and show your support for a fantastic competition. Shout out to Smithy, Aiden, all the mods, all the admins for all the work you put in on the side. Truly appreciate it all. Rain in 10. Seems to be the theme. Slaz looks like... So, EXR, Matty and Ollie have collided on track, and Matty seems to have got himself a 5-place grid penalty. Good evening, Alowin. How you doing, mate? Good to see the former BRA boys racing together, and it's Slaz going to be taking this off, so we're right on board with him for the first lap. And the lineups tonight for SLR: Clutty, Winter and Crispy, Slaz and Andres, Midzi and Snipes. And then for EXR, Stonks, Tom, Matty, Bradshaw, Ollie and Passy. There's your lineups for this evening. Apologies, didn't have a lot of time to get some graphics involved. Got a yellow flag in sector 1 for cars moving out of the way, and Slaz looks like he's backed out of his lap there. So we'll go on board with Crispy. Rain's already starting to fall, as you can see, and EXR Matty's going to be in a world of trouble if he don't get out of the pit lane. So we already have rain here within 4 minutes at Portimao. So everyone's going to be rushing around trying to get their laps in now. Slaz and Dravovo, is he going to be in trouble? We'll find out. He sets a 120.9, and I expect that to be absolutely smashed, and it is by Crispy, and that's a 117.0. But Tom N in the Red Bull, notice the Red Bull in the recent update has gone back to the original livery. Snipes SB on debut 16.7, now P3 because Bradshaw goes in at P1. Stonks 16.8. So the laps are coming thick and fast. BRA Andres coming around the final corner. That's called Galp according to Wikipedia. And that's a 117.263. So this is going to be a short and sweet qualifying session, unless that rain, if that rain gets any more. EXR Ollie into the pits as well. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. Midzi is going to have to start another lap in the Williams. Is he going to hit a bit of traffic? Yellow flag for a McLaren, and that is Klutzy Winter. The last time I commentated on Klutzy Winter was at Hungary, and he performed one of the best moves I've ever seen down into turn 1, and that was clipped. But he's not having such luck with that one. So go back on board with Midzi. Only one of 3 drivers not to set a lap. He crosses the line, and it is a 1:16.911. So everyone just making their way back to the pits, apart from EXR Matty, who's been hampered already with that 5-second time penalty. And he's right round, baby, right round. He cuts a bit of grass in the Alpha Tauri, and his session's going from bad to worse. Wow, Sean Keeper, how you doing, mate? Defensive guru from the mighty Decorus. Good evening, sunshine. Thanks for coming in, appreciate it. And he's right round again for the cameras. He's doing some donuts, it looks like, for the capacity crowd. Crispy back into the pits, and it looks like Midzi as well is coming back in. I'll put the lap data on, but you won't be able to see it. Only I can see it. It's just for my my personal preference. The bar in the top just blocks it slightly, and he is out of fuel actually, Midzi. So Snipes back out in the Williams, his teammate, on an out lap, and that track looks like it's going to be getting worse and worse and worse. So unfortunately this qualifying session is going to come to an abrupt end with 10 minutes to go. I don't think anyone's going to improve on their times. Snipe's going out having a bit of explore, but Slaz is off the track by a country mile. Klutzy Winters decided to park on the grass. So yeah, conditions getting very, very tricky. Snipes comes back into the pits. Klutzy, he just can't park airsire, unfortunately. And Andres having probably been called in by his engineer. DRS is disabled. Supersonic Esports Championship. Good evening. Welcome to the stream. Surfy. Good evening. EXR Ollie needs to set a lap though, so we'll stay on board with Ollie. Everyone else retiring, as you can see. And he's having awful trouble, so we might get an early race start. Most of the drivers deciding to retire. He's going to go for it. Fair play to Ollie. He's going to go for it. Oh, you can see the traction. He's really struggling. But he just needs to get a lap on the board. How he's managing to keep his car on the track, I do not know. He seems to be doing well, does Ollie? No, it doesn't look like a bad lap. It looks like full traction, not medium. And he's going to set the fastest lap of the race. The fastest lap. 1:16.5 in wet conditions. How on earth has he done that? He's hacking. He's got to be. EXR Ollie on the mod hype. Check this up, 68. How you doing? Sam 29. How you doing, buddy? Good evening. I'd love to know how he's done that. That is probably one of the most incredible laps I've ever seen. Snipes in the chat. Good evening, handsome. How are you? Back into the pits he goes, and 5 minutes left in qualifying. Get him disqualified. Okay. I get you. Hello Dan, how you doing, mate? So the glitch is that EXR Ollie DC'd from the session, and when he come back his track was actually dry. It was intermediate conditions for everyone else, so I think this will be a disqualification attempt. To make it fair, which is very, very good sportsmanship. And there you go. So that's nice sportsmanship to see from EXR. First time glitch, I've never seen that before. Anyone else seen it before in the chat? Anyone seen a glitch like that before? And that will be the end of qualifying. So it's the EXR Bradshaw on pole with a 16.574. Clears Tom N by a tenth of a second. His teammate snipes the leading runner for SLR and P3 of a 16.757. And then it's Stonks, Midzi, Klutzy Winter, Crispy, Andres, Passy, Slaz. No time from Matty, and as we just saw Ollie doing the very sportsmanlike thing of DSQing himself. I will be back in a few moments for the race start, live from Portimao. And we are back eagerly awaiting the race start now after a game influence qualifying session that saw wet weather conditions for 11 of the 12 drivers. EXR Ollie DC'd out of the lobby, and when he came back it was dry conditions for him, and he did set the pole time. But hats off to EXR, lovely bit of sportsmanship with the DSQ, and we will get away in a few minutes. Chat, what's your predictions? Who's gonna come out on top in this race? DW from FRA, how you doing, sunshine? Surfy thinks SLR, but it will be close. Yeah, it's a close battle, and it's, to be fair, on a personal note, it's not a two teams that I follow very closely. I haven't covered covered them a lot in my tour around various tournaments and stuff, but it's going to be a good one. I can assure you of that. Plenty for me to get excited about. Yep, that will be good. As the timer starts to click down, and there will be your starting grid, I believe. Ollie starts 11th because Matty did get that 5-place grid penalty, remember, for smacking up his teammate. Good evening, MrJSmithy. So it's 5 lights straight away, no formation lap in BFE, and we're away for the start of the Portimao Grand Prix. And what a start from Tom N004. He's up into the lead. He's caught Bradshaw napping as a couple of cars go wide, but it looks like everyone's got a pretty clean getaway. No, there's contact between Midzi and Clutzy Winter. Passy also caught up in a bit of carnage. Stonks has dropped a place as well. It's thick and fast at the start of these races. Don't even give me enough time to set up the graphics completely. And there we go. Position changes on the screen, and there's people moving around all over the place, especially towards the back. As we see there, EXR Ollie up into P9, looking to go around the outside, but he doesn't. Not this early in the race, and this uphill right-hander catches everyone out. TRT Tom Clark in the chat, good evening. So Tom N 2004 with one hell of a start there in the Red Bull for EXR, and that puts him up into P1 from Bradshaw. Bradshaw just seemed to get away off the start. Perhaps he forgot there was a no formation lap in this tournament, I don't know, but Tom N's absolutely gone up in the distance. Stonks now on the back of Clutzy Winter, his teammate. Here he goes, he's looking around the outside. Tom N sets the fastest lap, battery deployed. Clutzy pulls to one side to take out defensive line, but I think the move might be done, is it? No, they're going to go side by side into turn 1. Hold on tight. Late on the brakes, Clutzy Winter retakes the position. Good bit of move, but he does go wide, and that opens the door for Stonks up on the inside, and there's contact. He does well to save it, but he's opened a door for Crispy. Is he going to have a look up in the inside? And Stonks is right round, baby, right round for the first time this evening. And the Red Bull is now at the back of the grid, unfortunately. And that's unfortunate, as the train starts to form, as we see quite regularly in this format of racing. There is a wall there, mate, indeed. MrJSmithy in the chat, good evening. Thank you for joining. Can't park there, sir. We're holding that one, and there's another car. Stonks is right round, baby, right round one more time, and he wants to turn that Red Bull into a Flymo 450G. Unfortunately, Andres and Slaz swapping places. Oh, hello, Passy, you can't park there, sir. And that's another driver being caught, Roy Cropper, at the beginning of the race. So that's 2 drivers already. Further up the field, everyone's just starting to gap out now, apart from the teammates in the Alpine. Slaz, DRS is enabled, and they'll switch positions at the Alpine. Moo Moo Milk, good evening. QBR's one of QBR's finest in the chat. Good evening, sir. Thanks for coming in. And Stonks is in for an early box. The lap 1 undercut, probably no good when he's that far back, but Matty now getting in the party. He wants to attack these 2 Alpines in the Alpha Tower, and he's got his teammate Ollie on the charge behind him. So it's medium versus soft. SLRJ, good evening, mate. How's the CSR comms going? And Snipes as well now. He's right round, baby, right round in the Williams. And a nightmare start for Snipes, who's on debut. And guess what? You Bradshaw, you just can't park air, sir. He's off as well. So it's been a bit of carnage at the start of the race. We've seen Stonks, Bradshaw, Snipes. So Midsy's now up into P2. So Midsy doing the business there for SLR. And he'll look to chomp away at that 2.3 seconds. Slaz's SLR, indeedy, Mr. Mint Elephant. So Bradshaw's now into the box. So this battle between the Alpines of Slaz and Andres against EXR, Matty and Ollie coming right at you. And if you're just tuning in, good evening, welcome. Show some support for the BFE channel and hit that follow button. You're live with Rose in the booth for the one of two races from BFE this week. Sunday's the next one, QBR. Midsy, the first driver to get a penalty. Bradshaw's gone on to the hards. That will be an interesting choice of tyre. Hards not favoured by many on the esports or league racing circuit on this game this year. But we'll be interested to see KFC in CK, FFC in the chat. Good evening to you as well. Everyone is spinning. Tune in on Sunday indeed. It'd be good to be back in the booth for the QBR boys. So under DRS, but Andres getting that lovely toe off Slaz out in front. No move being made yet. Stonks and Bradshaw are a little bit close together further down their teammates, so we won't see no battles. This is the battle to watch. AG Passy now gets a time penalty as well, so not ideal there for the EXR driver. That's two EXR drivers with a penalty and one for SLR now. Bradshaw joining the penalty club. Gonna slap up Ronhar. Is he confirmed as racing Ronhar, is he? Good evening, Decorous Laurie in the chat. She's currently over. I think she's streaming a bit of Apex, if that's your kind of thing. Otherwise, stay tuned in for the next 28 laps of some high quality esports racing, we hope. Kirby, how you doing, mate? Welcome in. Love to see the support tonight from the various esports teams in and around. Okay, so it's going to be a good race. How's your lineup looking, Milk? Are you going to be putting in a good one? Whoa, as Matty just goes late on the brakes looking to make a move, but he almost collects the back of the Alpine of Andres, but he remains in P7. Snipes is just clawing away that gap, if you notice, in P9. The gap's 1.4 seconds, so the hold-up job from the Alpines to get their teammate Snipes back into play. We'll keep an eye on that gap very closely. Yeah, pole time. We won't discuss that, unfortunately, Kirby, because there was a game glitch. Ollie had a dry track and it was raining for everyone else. The Stonks and Bradshaw trade places into turn one. The yellow flags is for that move, so some team orders down at EXR further down the grid. Snipes is absolutely motoring here. He's pulled it into 0.4 of a second. He's found a second half in the second part of the lap 7. So we'll be interested to see what Snipes has got in the locker now. Is Ollie getting that DRS? No, he's not. So he's open to the move, and we might see this at the end of the next lap. Lineup not complete yet. Oh dear. Bradshaw disqualified from the session for trying to drive through the track instead of around it. And that is a nightmare scenario for EXR. Lost a driver on lap 6. Meanwhile, Snipes still on the charge, trying to get Ollie. Yellow flags all the way in sector 2 as Bradshaw's car is removed from the circuit. I reckon he did spin on that corner as well, Kirby. So Snipes makes it a 5-car train now, and we'll watch to see if Passy can claw 9.9 seconds back. But Ollie is going to get the DRS, I believe, off his teammate, is he? He is indeed. So that's going to make things even more difficult for Snipes. Is Matty? No move from Matty. Who just has a moment there coming out of turn 1. Almost loses the car. Snipes, you can see, getting closer and closer to Ollie. Big lock up on the brakes. Famous. I've followed Snipes for many years in a couple of different leagues, and he is a multiple-time world champion in said leagues, and he is partial to a lock-up. He does love a lock-up, the Zode Snipes. So while we ride on board with him, be prepared to hear that screech of the brakes. But still, frustration must be building for Matty. He's trying every trick in the book to get past, or is he being patient knowing he is on the medium tyre instead of the softs? Snipes was in CSR. He is a pad non-ABS user as well. So in terms of stints, guys, how long are we looking these races that we've got in the chat? How long are we looking on the soft tyres before we see a pit? Couple more laps, lap 10 potentially, or? I haven't covered many races, or raced this track myself actually. As it's still as you were in the battle of the midfield. Passy seems to have dropped off the back. Snipes getting ever closer to the back of Ollie in behind. Lap 12, thank you chat. To go on to the meds. Yeah, Snipes, one of many high-profile departures from CSR over the last few weeks for sure. Your likes of Snipes, Matt Connerby and Munn, and more recently I think Benny left today as well. So a few good drivers there from RSF1 Eastern maybe gone as well, according to sources. So Matty looks closer to Andres. Slaz is going to play a vital role in keeping this EXR assault in behind him. Could we see an undercut from Midzi? Clutzy, Winter and Crispy swap places the teammates in the McLarens in 3 and 4. Andres goes past Slaz. They want to be very, very careful what they're doing here, because one false move and it could all be over. Snipes is boxed. Oh, there's contact between teammates again. Matty and Ollie coming a cropper. We saw it in qualifying, which earned Matty the 5-place penalty, and they've just made contact again. Oh, and they're almost again, so a bit. Race roller. Race roller. Good evening, sir. Mun, I do try my best. Love the comms, love the esports, love BSE. BFE, and love every single one of you in the chat this evening. So it's Slazenger of Volvo's turn to play Valtteri Bottas role and try and avoid this onslaught from Matty and Ollie. Snipes onto the mediums then on lap 10. Is there going to be any undercut attempts from anyone up in front? So it's Tom N currently leading the way for EXR. Midzi, Clutzy, Winter and Crispy. And Slaz and Andres make it a 2-6 for SLR. So advantage SLR, and again you can see how close he's getting. He sends it down the inside into turn 2. Does Matty? And Slaz is just going to hold the inside line, but oh, he's pushed him off the track a little bit as well, I'd say. Almost collects Ollie on the way round again, so a brave move from Matty. Slaz just forcing him off the track. Matty 1929, good evening hero from you as well. He loves the high gears. Well noticed, man. Well noticed. So are any of these front runners going to pull the trigger for a early pit stop before lap 12 is predicted in the chat? Ollie just dropping off the back in this battle now. I would flick a camera around as Crispy pulls the trigger for a potential undercut on Midzy. Let's see how interesting, how powerful that undercut will be if that's what's been attempted. So Crispy's going to come out. Oh, he's keeping it. Frustration must be building. I don't know, is it just me, or what would you do in this position, chat? Would you... Snipe sets the fastest lap of the race, and are we going to see Matty again late on the brakes? The big Matty bomb, and he makes the move stick, but the traction on the outside of the softs. Andres, you can see they're going side by side. Andres is going to just sneak back in front because he has got that inside line, but he has a wobble, and he's got to be very smart on the brakes, Matty, and in a race that's not providing much content after lap 2. That was a good bit to see. EXR Appleby, thank you very much for coming in, lad. QBR SRA, fair play Andres, yeah, fantastic. Some drivers would have just give that up, but not Andres. He's making the comeback moves all of the time. The bounce back ability from the lad is that to see. And Shuey's in the chat on the WOR account. Good evening. So Midzy and Klutzy into the pits now. Tom looks like he's going to stay out. Slaz has exposed Andres here after giving him DRS, and he moves up into P2. So Andres is going to have to be very, very smart on this lap because he's not going to have DRS, so we might see a move from Matty now. He's tried it a couple of times and not been able to make it. Snipes makes it 2 fastest laps in a row, and here we go from Matty. Are we going to see it? No, we're not. He's just a little bit too far behind. So Crispy's attempt at the undercut didn't work because he's come out behind Klutzy, who's gone onto the soft tyre. Everyone else onto the medium tyre right now. Snipes has the undercut to the McLarens. He does indeed. So the early stops from Snipes, he put in a couple of big laps, and he just finds himself 7/10 of a second now off Crispy. But Crispy's going to be dragged all the way along by Klutzy Winter. Matty, be nice to the gearbox. Yeah, it might blow up before the end of the race if you can keep this going. I don't know. So Andres into the box as expected, which exposes Matty and Ollie now up to P2 and 3. Meanwhile, Midzy having a look at AG Passy. Another close battle we're keeping an eye on track. Round the outside, Midzy takes the inside line as well up into P4. Fantastic move in the Williams. Snipes now on the charge of the McLarens. Andres and Slaz have... Let's see. So let's see where EXR, Ollie and Matty continuing. Tom N is right round, baby, right round. And you just can't park on the gravel there, sir. And what a nightmare for Tom, because he gets a 3-second time penalty for his troubles as well. And that's unfortunate. Tom, comfortable leader at the front of the grid. JRL Lizard in the chat, first time viewer, good evening. Tom has bottled indeed, and that's unfortunate from the Red Bull driver. In a world of his own out in front. Just fire, maybe tie attempts, who knows, but it's Matty and Ollie now who lead the race. Mitzi's a net race leader for SLR, so it's an SLR 1, 2, 3, 4 after Snipes up into P6 after an early box. And we'll just go to make sure that who has pitted and who has not. So everyone apart from the top 2 have pitted now on lap 16 of 33 from the BFE round 2 action from Portimao. And the SLR boys, once the pit stops are made, will be making all of the noise, no doubt. Appleby, unfortunate that, yeah, I'm sure he'd be kicking himself, but he's in P7. So EXR, there 5 drivers remaining, sitting 11, 10, 9, 8 and 11, 10, 7, 1 and 2. But obviously Matty and Ollie. Yeah, Klutzy's on, registered for the 2-stop. He's gone soft. Indeed, DW. Sorry, check this out. He has gone soft. He has to pit again for a medium tyre. He just put that on just to try and mix it up, I imagine. Try and put a different strategy in. Tom N does have a bit of redemption and sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:18.1. As Snipes getting on the back of these McLarens. And you don't want to attack him because that's his teammates. It might well be. He hasn't made the inroads that he would want to, I imagine, on these soft tyres. As Crispy has a moment there. We see that quite a bit on this track. We've seen a few spinneroonies. Yeah, PSR, breaking news from the world of esports this evening. Yesterday was the chorus shush, today's PSR shush. Congratulations if you're in the chat, Mr. Shush. You've won a free block and that will be coming your way very, very shortly. So Crispy moving over and letting Snipes through. You definitely are now. He's banned from my stream, so. So Snipes splits the McLarens up into P5. Tom N in that Red Bull, getting closer and closer and closer to the back of Crispy. Crispy just has a tendency to just flick that back end out. Elliot Arbon Good evening. It might have been just to mix up the strategies. I don't know. Soft, medium. Maybe it's a attempt to see what a two-stop does. I don't know, but it's going to put him in a world of trouble at the end of the race because he's going to be on. Yes, he's going to be on fresh mediums, but he's going to be some way off the end of the grid. So medium lappers, Matty and Ollie, they should be coming in within the next 2 laps then, I'm guessing. Softs do 12, mediums lap 20, should we say? And the only battle on track is the one I've currently got on the screen. And if you're just joining, qualifying was one I've never experienced on this game or any game. Stonks gets a time penalty, is the latest update from P11. EXR Ollie obviously DC'd from the session. Wet weather, when he came back the track was dry, and on screen we saw one of the best laps in the wet you'll ever see, but unfortunately on his screen it was dry, so he DSQ'd himself as Matty's coming in now. So where is Matty going to come out? So Midsy's going to go up into P2. Oh, he has a moment there indeed. Oh, Matty's going to be absolutely rapid on these softs. Is he coming out? Is he going to beat the Alpines? No, he's not. The Alpines just go out in front. So he's out in P9. And now it's Ollie's turn. Dump all the battery and put in the lap of your life in that Mercedes. Normally hammer time, but we'll go with Jeff. It's Ollie time. And he just has a moment out of that uphill right-hander. So he needs the lap of his life here. Otherwise he's going to find himself down in that area as well. But he's come out half a second behind Slazenger on fresh soft, so there's going to be some moves going there. We'll stay on board with Ollie just to see the push on the in-lap that we believe this is going to be. 37 viewers in the chat now. Good evening, welcome to all of you. Unfortunately, Clutzy Winters is right round, baby, right round in that McLaren, and the soft's definitely not working for him now as Ollie comes into the box. Matty already up the inside of Slaz. Slaz just going to hold that inside line, looking for the switchback. Looking for that switchback up the inside. I think he's going to make it. It's going to be wheel to wheel. He's made it. Good move from Matty already. And Ollie's going to come out where? Slaz all over the back, looking to make the comeback into turn 1. It's a battle late on the brakes here. Who's it going to be? Slaz has a look, but just backs it out. Matty retains P6, and next on his target list will be Andres, and that might be at the end of this DRS zone. So we'll stay on board. DRS is open. Crispy gets past Tom N up in front as well. Late on the brakes from Matty, and that's 2 Alpines dispatched, and he just blocks off that switchback by planting that car. Lovely. No worries, Sean, I'll be doing the same. Memories of Vietnam have long gone. Ollie out in P8, and it'll be his turn to try and close that gap up of 1.4 seconds to Slaz and the Alpines and try and make the moves now. And Matty's got 7 seconds to make up to Tom N, who is on the charge of Crispy. So it's Midsy leading the race for SLR. Snipes and Crispy make it an SLR podium right now. And then it's EXR, Tom and Matty, but this could change here. Crispy out of battery. You can see the flashing on the back. Are we going to see the move into the turn 1? Battle on the brakes. A Red Bull up the inside makes a lovely move, and Tom redemption after his earlier spin now has got Snipes in his target. Is he going to make the move? Snipes obviously 5 lap older tyres. So Matty's chomped a second out of Crispy already, down to 6.3. And EXR Ollie now stonks his box for a fresh set of softs, probably to steal the fastest lap, but Ollie's made that 1 second advantage now onto Slaz in the Alpine, so it'll be his turn to have a go for sure. The easiest one to take will be Andres, but Slaz is going to get the DRS advantage from his teammate. These two have been side by side all race really. Slaz and Andres, they've been swapping positions, but he's going to follow his teammate, is he? No, he's going to look round the outside. SLR Sam has left the session. Is he going to take both of them into... Oh, he's going through the middle. Unbelievable. Oh, wow. Absolute. What a move from Ollie. That takes some cojones, and he's made that move stick with perfection. One of the best moves I've seen in a long, long time. Absolutely unbelievable. What have I just... Get that clipped up, anyone in the chat, please. Absolutely unbelievable. Overtaken the tournament. Klutzy Winter time penalty. Holy... What a pleasure to be commentated during that. That is incredible. Tom now on the charge of Snipes. He did go off the track, but that move to have the cojones to go through the middle of the Alpines, absolutely unbelievable. Thank you very much, Halloween. Appleby with the goat emojis. Get that in the Discord as well. If there's an overtake of the week section, get that in there as well. Absolute scenes. Tom N now about to have a go on the Williams of Snipes. So Tom 3XR puts it up into P2, and a pretty comfortable move under DRS. Snipes, he might have a go back at him here on the... Will he? Snipes is going to have DRS. Yes. 0.3 of a second the gap. Is Snipes going to get late on the brakes? No, he's not. Yeah, we can always cut that out though, shush. Mun, sorry. We can always mod that out. But let's just take a minute to appreciate what did go well in that move and not what didn't go well. So it's Midzi continues to lead the race for SLR. Tom for EXR in P2. Snipes SLR on the podium. Crispy P4. One thing I'm not very good at, and this is well known across any esports competition, is the points, because I do so many different competitions. I don't understand I'm not very good at the points for all of them. So if anyone could help me out what the current status is for points, that would be highly appreciated. Hello Freeman, how are you doing this evening, sunshine? Thanks for joining in. So Matty, 4.7 seconds to chase down Crispy. He's got his teammate Ollie in behind him now after move of the century. It did run me close, to be fair, to that Tom Nepp switchback at Hungary, but it's close. It is very close. I mean, the fact Ollie did go off the track a little bit might sway my vote, but I've lost game sound in my headset. Oh no, there we go. 70 to 32 SLR. Thank you very much, Josh. It's nice to know you're splendid, Freeman. Love that from you. The Tom Nepp switchback. Yes, it was a beautiful move. Klutzy Winter's double overtake into turn 1 at Hungary was also a beautiful move. Crispy and Snipes getting close, obviously the teammates at SLR. Go on Slaz, says Mac. Good stuff. Matty's, that gap's 4.5 seconds now. He's got 7 laps left, so he needs to be lapping a lot quicker than he is to get that gap down. No other battles close on the track. War Shoey. Sounds like a Geordie War Shoey. As the numbers increase up to 38 with 7 laps to go in this BFE action from Portimao, VRA Andres gets a time penalty. So we'll go over the penalties very shortly, but just a moment now to thank everyone at BFE for the hard work that goes on in behind the scenes to get these tournaments running. Loads of you won't see it, but let's show a bit of love and support for the BFE owners, mods and admins in the chat and get some W's going potentially if we can, please. Thank you for all the stuff you do to give this racing tournament the go. Marcus in the chat, good evening from you as well. Freeman, the bloke with more failed ratios than points in BFE. You can have some love as well, my friend. Mac Shush has joined PSR indeed. That's old news. Breaking news has brought live before. I hope he does very well. Better than he did last night anyway. Hey, Matty, that gap's 3.7 seconds, so we'll just check the lap times, shall we? Let's have a look at the lap times. What's Crispy doing on them mediums? He's currently doing 18.8s, 18.7s. He's gone past Snipes just as I read that. So Snipes is doing 18.9s. Matty's doing 18 4s and 6s, so it's not enough for Matty. He really needs to put the hammer down now. The gap is 3.2 seconds. EXR Matty clear. He's not clear, unfortunately. 5 place penalty for contact with his teammate during qualifying, and he's made his way up from the back of the grid. We are on lap 28 of 33, 5 laps to go. Give Rose some support if you want to, feel free. Penalties there, Midzi and Tom 3 seconds. Andres, Passy, Clutzy, Winter and Stonks all with 3 seconds. No penalties yet for Slaz, Ollie, Matty, Snipes and Crispy in the middle. So Crispy might be on the move after this. Still a pad god, says AMS Chris D Hero in the chat. One thing I will say, 39 of you in the chat, I hope 39 of you have followed this channel. If you haven't, hit that follow button. We're 13 away from 400 at BFE, and this channel will be the only channel used, I believe, for the rest of the tournament. So if you want to see all the action as we go deeper into the knockout stages, then hit that follow button. Thank you very much, Lux. Oh, Matty, someone said Matty was clear. He gets a 3-second time penalty for pulling his best knee for speed out. And that any chance of him going up the order now, absolutely done for. Oh. He'd get a skill chain on Forza for that one, but unfortunately in Formula 1 it's a 3-second time penalty and he has to let his teammate through as well. Rose, when am I? I don't know, mate. I was going to race on Friday in ABRC, but I ain't confident enough. I haven't raced for a long time. I'm still... It's going to take a lot of work to get me back on track. That's for sure. Thank you very much, Josh, for your kind words. No. No, you won't, man. Unfortunately. Thanks for the offer, though, man. Thanks for the memories, but no. I do. It's a strange one. I do get the urge to race sometimes. I sit here and think. I watch some people race, and I think, I wonder how I get on. Or I just think to myself, how would I get on if I was racing tonight? And especially when I cover leagues. I think leagues more than esports because I'm a million miles away from esports. Only been in a main team for 4 minutes, as it's well known. So. But league racing, I just think, you know, if I was racing there tonight, maybe I could do it. Maybe I'll give it a go. Who knows? I got a week off from commentary next week, so maybe I'll get some laps in. Maybe I'll get that Rose Community Discord up and running. It's almost built, and maybe I'll chuck some 5-lappers and some sessions up in there if people want to come and join. Get me back on track. Thoughts on PSR? Good team, full of some good lads. There's some really good lads in there. Bourbon, I think, to be fair, all of them are okay. My favourite is Freeman, unfortunately. So 2 laps to go here at Portimao, back on track. Everyone's gapped right out, so we'll be surprised if we see any more overtakes before the end. Midzi leads away and has done for a long time. But Tom N, after his spinneroonie earlier, 1.8 seconds is the gap. Gorgon, I haven't really spoken too much. Obviously, Harry Munn, and now Shush, I've spent a lot of time with in recent times, in leagues, commentary, DMs, but the famous bunker room. Lurch, Freeman, obviously Jish. I admire his commentary. He's a great lad, but Freeman is my favourite. And I'll tell you every day of the week the same thing. So Matty gets another time penalty, and that puts him into range of Slazenger of Volvo as Midzi starts the final lap here at Portimao. Snipes gets a time penalty, so it isn't going to affect him too much. We'll go on, we'll change the interval to the leader, so we'll see, and we'll put penalties up instead of tyres. There we go for the final lap. Midzi, half a lap to go. The gap is 1.4 seconds to Tom N in behind, and these two have absolutely put the hammer down for the final couple of laps because they've got Crispy to 6 seconds off the lead now, Crispy. So it isn't indeed. I don't know why that said 33. I thought it said 33. It's getting long into the race. It's been a long home race. Don't call me a mong either, Shuey. Portimao. I don't know. Is it a wheel or pad track, chat? What do you think? What? I'm just rehearsing anyway, Shuey, for this bit. And I'll start it again. Midzi starts the final lap here at Portimao. The gap is 1.1 seconds, so Tom N is on the charge. What's he got in the locker for the final time? Kirby saying pad track. Everyone's going pad track. 1000% pad track. Okay. That's a unanimous pad track in the chat. Thank you. But at the end of the race, just stay. At the end of the race, just stay in. We're gonna go and raid probably a racing league somewhere. If anyone knows one that's online right now that deserves the support from the BFE channel, then let it know. As the gap is 0.6 of a second. Why did I leave IFC? I left IFC because I couldn't commentate at all in that league, unfortunately. So Midzi up the hill for the final time, takes the checkered flag at Portimao, from Tom N. Crispy about to bring it home as Stonks gets a time penalty. Crispy brings it home in P3. Snipes in P4. EXR Ollie is going to jump Snipes on penalties up into P4. Matty's right round, baby, right round on the final corner, and that is an absolute nightmare for Matty. Unfortunate, and that's allowed the Alpines of Slaz and Andres to go into 6th and 7th, and they finish how they start the race. Klutzy Winter. Be interesting to find out, if anyone knows, if that decision to go soft medium was his choice or someone else's, whether it was a MFD error or something like that. Passy comes home in P10. Stonks looking for that fastest lap again, I believe. Someone quickly get them scores up. So Midzi wins it for SLR. Tom for EXR in P2. So it's 1v1v1, and that is the end of what has been a fantastic race. Driver of the day is EXR Ollie, and after that move we saw earlier, we would definitely give it to him. We are going to go. Let's go over and raid Invictus Racing League. That's where we're going to go shortly, but we'll just have that race recap. So, a race that got good at the beginning, after a few spins, flatlined in the middle, and a bit of excitement towards the end. Sees Midzi in the Williams win it for SLR. Tom comes home in P2 after leading the race for a long time, and he'll feel a little bit of regret, no doubt, that he couldn't make it P1. Crispy in the McLaren comes home in P3. Ollie from P11 on the grid, owner of one of the best overtakes I've ever seen, in P4. Snipes in P5. Slaz and Andres P6 and 7. Matty comes home in P8. Klutzy Winter, the only driver to stop of his own accord, in P9. Passy brings it home in the Mercedes in P10. Stonks and Bradshaw 11th and 12th, unfortunately. Few GGs in the chat. Everyone agreed that EXR Ollie should be driver of the day. Anyone else got any objections to that one? Bradshaw for driver of the day, says Lux. Me personally, I'll be back on Thursday over on Decorus channel for the rerun in another esports tournament against ETE. I'm back on BFE main for Sunday's clash between QBR and FRA. Looking forward to that one. Hope you'll all come and join me for that one as well. Thank you very much, EXR Lewis, for the kind words. Really appreciate all the feedback I get from the millions of fans I have worldwide. Stop the ego, stop the ego. Right, we're going over to raid IRL. Please go over and give them some follows, like their chat.